Hi, I'm John Stevenson, and we're going to be looking at Psalm 123, a plea for God's grace. It's going to be a very short psalm. This is another one of our songs of ascent. That's the superscription, and we've been seeing these from Psalm 120 all the way to Psalm 134. And notice the ascending part is as it begins. To you, I lift up my eyes. Yeah, I'm ascending and I'm lifting up, and I'm lifting up my eyes. O you who are enthroned in the heavens, speaking to the Lord, seeing His throne in the heavens. Verse 2: Behold, as the eyes of servants look to the hand of their master, and the eyes of a maid look to the hand of her mistress, so our eyes look to the Lord our God until He is gracious to us. Now, notice the flow of the eyes. You start off, my eyes. I'm lifting up my eyes. Behold, as the eyes of a servant um, look to the hand of their master. The eyes of a maid, both servants and maids. That's two serving people. Look to the hand of their mistress. So one is male, one is female. In the same way, our eyes look to the Lord our God. So this nice little chiasm that we see in the first two verses. Notice also the change where it starts off with my eyes, that's singular, and then you get down to the end of verse 2. So our eyes look to the Lord our God until He is gracious to us. And that tells us that we're going to move in a direction of a communal lament. It didn't start that way. But now it's going to be not just my prayer, but our prayer, our eyes. And we're seeking God to be gracious to us. So we start off talking to God, you know, to you I lift up my eyes, speaking to the Lord. You who are enthroned in the heavens. And then as we get to verse 2, it changed. Did you catch that? It's talking about God. Our eyes look to the Lord our God, not speaking to God until He, not until you, but until He is gracious to us. But it won't stay there. As we move now to verse 3, be gracious to us. So it's now going to notice the be gracious to us. Oh Lord, be gracious to us. We still have that communal part. But now we change with verse 3, where now it's talking again to God. And a call for God's grace, that God would be gracious to us. Notice how it says it twice. That's the poetry here. That's the ascending scale in our psalms, our ascending psalms, or psalms of ascent. For we are greatly, and here's the problem, latter part of verse 3, for we are greatly filled with contempt. And that's the problem. No, it's not that I'm filled with contempt where I have contempt for somebody else. That's going to be explained in the final verse. Our soul is greatly filled. Notice the repetition. Um, we said we're greatly filled with contempt. Our soul is greatly filled with the scoffing of those who were at ease and with the contempt of the proud. It's their contempt that is directed toward us. That's the issue. And so, yes, there's trouble, there's trial, but there's the voice of trouble and trial that is heaping contempt upon the psalmist and upon those whom the psalmist represents. And this reminds us of how Jesus had contempt heaped upon him when he went to the cross. We can identify. And in our identification, Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 15 says, for we do not have a high priest who cannot sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who has been tempted in all things as we are, yet without sin. Therefore, let us draw near with confidence to the throne of grace, so that we may receive mercy and find, here's that term again, that we might find grace to help in time of need. He suffered contempt. It was heaped upon him. As we suffer the contempt of others, of those who dwell at ease, he can say, I understand. I've been there. I've done that. And we can find grace to help when we find ourselves in that situation.